Hello and welcome to another episode of Design Forward. My name is Eunice and with me again is
Joseph Emmanuel Joseph.
And Daniel Thompson.
yes. Welcome guys to episode 2 of Design Forward. Today we're going to be having another conversation around a topic that has been almost like a concern to me, which is, do clients really know what they want? The subject of interior design, right? Do clients really know what they want? I want to hear your opinions. Starting with you, Daniel.
So I would say that clients know what they want, but they don't know how to articulate it.
Clients know what they want. How?
They have an idea of what they want their space to look like and feel like.
Okay.
So maybe they are more clear on how they want it to feel like than what they want it to look like.
Exactly.
Right? But they don't know how to articulate it. So a client might come and say, I want my living room to be spacious, but they don't particularly, the interpretation of what that spacious means is very broad. Right? Do you mean that you want yours to be minimalist and you want as little furniture as possible, or you want as many things as possible but arranged in such a way that you can still move around? For instance, someone came to me, I think this was like a year or 2 years ago, and said they wanted their bedroom to be minimalist. And I'm like, okay. And I designed a minimalist bedroom. And it was like, why is everywhere? Where is everything that is supposed to be in the bedroom? And I said, this is what minimalist is supposed to be. And it was like, no, I have
I have a lot of books.
I have 30 something shoes. I have chemical. And it was like, where am I going to keep everything?
Right.
Like, but you said
you want
minimalist, right? So I think they sort of have an idea of what they want their space to feel like, but they don't know how to communicate it.
Right. How about you, sir?
So yes, I agree that they have an idea, but sometimes to answer the question whether clients know what it is, it's like in depth. We need to actually dissect why do they think, why do they think they know what they want. And the first thing that comes to me is the matter of influence. So as they scroll on social media, as they scroll on Pinterest, they see so many different styles, and they feel like, oh, they save on Instagram, save the pin, Pinterest will download the image, and then when they approach a designer, they give them a picture or several pictures. Funny enough, those several pictures might not be even exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
So, but they just feel like it's nice to them. Not knowing that our job literally is to tailor design to your specific need. So most of them sometimes don't think about the needs, but they know that they want it to look a certain way. So they know how they want it to look, but like Daniel said, to articulate it, it's just like he said, someone says, I want a minimalist space, but at the end of the day, you are a maximalist. You can't be a maximalist and want a minimalist space.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. But you're saying you're looking for Scandinavian interior, but you have the items that you have in your house, the particular area, the kind of, you already have tiles where you are living. There is literally lack of wood. You are not
a lot of antique.
You have a lot of antique stuff, a lot of heirlooms. We are looking for something Scandinavian, looking for something minimalist. So I think that they just hear these words and it sounds
Sleek.
nice, it sounds sleek to them. It sounds modern to them. But then they approach you with it and you just find out that by the time you ask certain questions, you see that no, it's not actually what you want. But then they stand on business. They stand on business and say, no. I want it to look this way. I want it to look this way. But then your job is to convince them. But yes, I think one of the reasons why they think they know what they want is influence. Influence.
So now we've heard from both of you now that a large percentage of them, or let me coin it this way, how large is the percentage of people that know what they want to the percentage of people that don't know what you want? Because from what I'm hearing now is as though a lot of clients do not actually know what they want, right? So what's the percentage ratio for both parties? Who's going first? Daniel.
I would say about probably 90%.
90%. Wow.
And so let me explain. It's not what you think.
Hey.
So I think
clients are in trouble.
no, that's why we're here. That's why we are in the. That's literally our job to interpret, right?
So why 90%?
But I would say 90% because, and this is for this. This is excluding clients that want furniture makers. So sometimes clients come and say, "Oh, I want an interior designer," but then they already have what they want in mind. Like, I just need a wardrobe, or I just need 2 sofas and 1 armchair, right? Excluding those guys, right? And like coming to the actual interior design clients that know what interior design is and they want like a revamp of their space, right? A lot of times except the ones that are exposed and they actually know they've been exposed enough to have the right vocabulary to explain exactly what they want, right? But most times they just have a feeling and they know that I want to feel good when I come home from a long day of work. So
90% is still very, very, very far.
It is still very vague. And then apart from corporate clients as well, because a lot of time corporate client decisions are based on functionality and actual facts and business, right? So those ones more often than not would actually send you a proper brief.
Time for fun.
There's nothing like, oh, I want to come to the office and I want to feel relaxed. Relax for what? Right? So those ones are more straightforward. It's you're preserving a company brand, the company this, the company that, But when it comes to more residential or mostly residential, you start hearing some interesting things like, oh, I went to India last year and I saw something.
So how about you, Joseph? What's the percentage ratio for you? What would you rate that?
So if I'm to give it percentage, it's, I don't know, for me it's more of, I can do like a 70%.
70.
The reason I do 70% is because okay. So a big reason is decision making. So a lot of clients, before I mentioned the influence already, a lot of clients find it hard to make a decision in terms of the space that you want, and they're coming to you to make that decision. So certain ones have made the decision, but they want an expert opinion. So the reason why they will come for an expert opinion is because they don't know what to decide on. So 70% of them, funny enough, have an idea, but they just don't want to make that decision on their own, so that in case there's a mistake,
hang it on somebody's
can be like,
oh, someone to
I felt this,
but that mistake, you're the one that
caused
pushed
this
me
issue.
into it.
So, and yes, the other clients that, funny enough, make literal design changes as the
project is ongoing.
Conceptualization phase has gone, 3D phase has gone, mood board has passed, and then is now execution. And during the execution, they wake up one day and say, I thought to myself,
Bola, I
Why
saw
don't we have
something somewhere.
why
Can
don't we have
we?
an L-shaped sofa here? But we have already established that an L-shaped sofa cannot work. It's not better to have one, have a three-seater sofa and then two armchairs here because of this. Well, no, I want an L-shaped sofa. This, and this. Or he comes the next day and say, no, he doesn't want this color of paint. He wants black paint. Why do you want black paint? When I traveled to this particular place, I saw black paint. That's nice.
Yeah.
But if you use this black paint, in the long term, it will have effects. Blah blah blah. That's immediate. So, but this specific to a particular niche of clients that just don't know the decision to take. They know what they want at that moment, but they don't know that what they want at that moment might not be what will benefit them in the long term.
Yeah.
So that's like maybe 30%, 30 to 40% of clients. Then there are some that have an idea, but like Daniel said, cannot express it verbally. So everyone has tastes, and tastes a lot of times is acquired. So it might be that they grew up liking a particular style, and they're just used to that. Any other style they see does not concern them. This is what they have grew up with. This is what they grew up with, and it's okay for them. So, but now they might not know the name of the style. They might not know the elements that will make that style be that style. But they just know that I'm looking for something spacious. What is spacious? But you find out that what they actually want to say is that they need to optimize the space that they currently have. You say you want a spacious living room, but your living room is a small living room. So how can you have a spacious living room? They're just looking for a way that they can have maybe modular furniture that will just make everywhere feel airy and things like that. But they don't know how to say it. They don't know what words to use. But then we are their Joseph or their interpreter. That's what it is. So that's like another 30% of the clients. So but the rest of the clients, they are mostly those nitpicky ones. Those ones that are always looking for the errors. You see it and say, this paint is cheap. This particular wood. No. This one. Those are the ones that most of the time know what they want. So, but yeah,
So
70%.
So now, based on this question, do clients know what they want? As interior designers, do we think that clients should actually know what they want before they reach out to us? Or it is our job to help them figure it out? And if it's our job, why is it a body that we are always asking ourselves that this client does not know what he wants? I don't know if you get my question, but yeah. Should the clients actually know what they want before they reach out to the interior designer? Or the designer is tasked with the responsibility of actually helping the client find out what they want, right?
Thank you so much for that question.
Let me ask Joseph.
Okay, so I'll start with I think there has been whether I'll call it slight or major, whatever it might sound like, a misconception in the theme of clients knowing what they want. You know how before we start a design, there's a brief. There's a brief and there's a consultation.
Yeah.
So when it has now come to the time of, this client does not know what he wants, I feel like they are not supposed to necessarily know what they want. If they are seeking for professional advice and if they're paying for a consultation, it means they literally do not know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
They will express it the best way they can, and it's your job to ask questions as deeply as you can because you're the professional. Then you ask questions like, what's the size of the family? What are the ages of the children? Do you stay at home most time in the year? Is this where you're going to be staying for the rest of your life? Deep questions that they might not say in the spur of the moment. So, but then a lot of us have just been relaxed because we come across a lot of clients that will just give us Pinterest boards, or they'll just give us expressly saying that, oh, I want a modern, I want a contemporary interior. So I think in the interior design space, we have gotten used to clients voicing out their their opinions on what it is. Well, of course, it's a partnership, but I don't think we should be of the opinion and coming to the point of saying, "Oh, this client doesn't know what he wants." Obviously, of course, the client does not know what he wants. Before, uncle, he does not know what he wants. That's why he's seeking for an expert to intercede. So I absolutely love it when clients just say, "Oh, I have this particular space. Um, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this." But just come up with something. And we can go from there.
Yeah.
Good. You have given me a canvas. I've asked you questions. I've seen the kind of space that you live in currently. I've heard the way you sound. I've seen the way you look.
Yeah.
Seen your height. I've seen your children. I've asked questions, and then you give me a blank canvas so I can create that bespoke space for you. But then a client now comes to meet you and say, okay, I want this. I specifically want this. I want this type of light. I want this kind of switch. I want this kind of color. And at the end of the day, you give them that, and they're like, and then you now have like 6 different iterations instead of them to just allow you do what you know how to do and just tailor it to their specific needs. But then when you say this is what is better for you, they feel like, just like Daniel said, a lot of clients nowadays just want a supplier. They want an interior designer to do their curtain. Why do you need an interior designer to do your curtain? If you know the curtain that you want to do, then just
Go ahead
a
and
curtain installer
get it done.
to just get it done. Or you need an interior designer to paint. You don't need an interior designer to come and paint your house. Or you need an interior designer to come and change your floor. Why do you need that? If you know what floor you need to do, put the floor there.
And they are asking permit me. They are asking your opinion as an interior designer. Okay, I think I get your point in terms of you don't necessarily need the interior designer to come and now execute that part of the job. You can ask for their advice on, okay, I like this type of flooring. On your expert opinion, do you think it's suitable for number one, what want to be done in that space, like the workflow, functionality, and all that? Will it be suitable for the space? Not that you will now call the interior designer to be like, oh, I want to install SPC floor, please. I'm indulging your services to install the flooring.
So before I pass it on to Daniel, what I want to say about that is I think that's definitely our job. So you know how in every profession there are those that are the actual professionals, and there are those that, apologies, no shade, pretend to be professionals. So funny enough, those people that are in the other register, so to speak, happen to meet a lot more clients.
Yeah.
And then because of that, because our job is to educate the clients. Our job is to literally educate the clients and inquire. So because they have come in contact with a lot of, so to speak, almost professional, up and coming, and obviously because of cost implications.
Yeah.
So those particular professionals would have tainted their image of what should be and what should not be. Because now, if you are calling an interior designer, it should be that there is a problem that needs to be solved, a problem that is impacting your well-being. It's not that, oh, you know the answer to the question, but you are just calling the interior designer to fill in the space.
Yeah.
So it should be that, okay, I have this space. I have an issue making decision of what floor to use. Can I get options, and can you give me the advantages or the disadvantages of inner flow? As a matter of fact, all the clients, they even have assistants that can do the work, and a lot of them just need an opinion because that's not what they studied. So, but because of how things has become a trend of, oh, now every client seems to know interior design. Interior design seems like an easy job. It's really just come and arrange the space. You just do flooring now and call somewhere to do the flooring. So that supplier, I don't know what's English to call it, but just them seeing us as a supplier is is where there's a problem. So you just come and you be like, oh, just come and supply furniture. I just want furniture in my living room. I just want bed in my bedroom. But that's not what we're supposed to do.
Yes.
That's not what we're supposed to
Interior designers are meant to solve problems. Solve problems.
Yeah.
Daniel.
So I think continuing from where Joseph stopped, or just basically riding on what he said, I think that interior designers, I mean, there's a reason why it's called consultation, right?
Yeah.
We are consultants, and maybe because of how a lot of people got into interior design, like from the informal standpoint, that consultation part seems to have been lost. So we expect clients to come and give us their brief, and then we go on and execute and do the design part. Meanwhile, I think interior design starts from the first interaction with the client. Like from that first interaction, you already start to consult. It's like going to the hospital.
Yeah, I was actually wanting to give that example after you were done.
It's like going to the hospital, right? A lot of people self-medicate, but you won't say because of that
you are now a doctor or
exactly
a
exactly the point, right? You still go to, so for instance, you can self-medicate for some, so in Nigeria everybody seems to know the symptoms for malaria, right? So most people just go to the pharmacy and get malaria drugs, which
without
is wrong,
going for
but
the tests first.
it can, I mean, a lot of people still do it, but you don't go to the pharmacy and get drugs for cancer. You go to the hospital, right? And when you go to the hospital, the doctor will ask, okay, what are the symptoms, before they now take you to do the tests or the whatever it is that they do before they do the operation.
And even sometimes you think you have malaria and you go to the hospital, the doctor asks you some questions, and based on your response to those questions, he'll now tell you, oh, sorry, you have malaria and typhoid.
Exactly.
Or malaria and something, right? It's not just malaria. And then you are now, before you know it, when you start getting treated, you find out that, oh, actually, if I take in only malaria drugs, I might still have come back again for another dose. Right? So, very true.
Or in case of when there was COVID, and COVID symptoms were similar to malaria symptoms.
Exactly.
You'd say you have malaria. You'd say you have malaria, and then you figure out that, oh, it's actually COVID. Right? Very so, true. As interior designers, I think there needs to be that mindset that, aside just the design aspect, yes, your designs might be great and awesome and wonderful, but the client is the client, right? The end product of interior design is to satisfy the needs of the client. And so if at the end of the project is good, it's beautiful, but then the client is not satisfied, or what you produced was beautiful, but it was not an interpretation of what the client wanted, it's still wrong.
Very.
Right. So that consultation, I think, is a very, very important aspect of the design process.
Very true. Very, very true. Consultation is a very important part of design process. Interior designers, please, let's stop skipping a consultation part of design process. It's very, very, I think, actually, let's even dive a little into that part of interior design. What is the process of interior design? Like, what is the what are the steps taken to bring to life a design?
So I think, what even I think, but analogy. Give analogy of the hospital. So, let's say you go to a tailor. A lot of people go to the tailor because they know what style they want to do. know what style they want to sew, you just go to the tailor so that the tailor can accomplish that style.
Yes.
Now, but when you go to meet a fashion designer, as even if you can meet the fashion designer, but most of the time, what you're going to get from a fashion designer is something that has been okay. For instance, my brother is a fashion designer. Now, you would go to meet him with an idea, like with a concept of which he'll ask you. He might even ask you things like what type of events, like questions that sometimes I might not even see. Well, how does that have to do with the clothes I want to make? But then with that, he comes up with a sketch.
Yeah.
Takes your measurements, sits down, thinks, comes up with a design. So you are not going to him because you have a
Already have
style
a style.
that you want to
Yeah.
sew. You are going to him because you know that he can come up with a style that will
That
be
will be
best for
unique
you
for you.
Yeah.
and will be unique and will stand out. So if you are trying to stand out, you don't go to a tailor.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go
To
to
a fashion
a fashion designer.
I hope you guys are jotting.
So now, in the same vein, for an interior designer, we have interior decorators. If you want your house or your space, your office to be different, to stand out, you go to an interior designer. If you know what you want, but you want somebody that will just come and arrange the furniture for you, then there are decorators for that. Now, the usefulness of consultation is literally for insights.
Yes.
Insights, because I think a lot of, and I'll just, because you cannot just blame clients, interior designers too are to
A
blame.
huge role. Yeah.
So it's important to note that we are very human centric. Interior design is very human centric, it's physical and emotional.
Yeah.
So you are literally going to imagine yourself as the client while you are designing.
Yeah.
So you go for a consultation. Client reaches out with a certain brief or just details of, it could be minor details or major details. But then you ask for a consultation because you want to inquire.
Yeah.
You inquire, and as you're inquiring, you are observing. You're observing the space for certain cues. Oh, you see that, oh, this particular space, ceiling is very short. And you notice that the client is having or is complaining of something that he cannot really express. Or you just have a way of linking it to that particular ceiling not being high enough. And maybe he wants to acquire that property. And then you can just even randomly give the opinion that why not look for a better property that has a higher ceiling that will help you out and in turn might actually change your way of life. So that will not come with an interior decorator.
Obviously.
And that will come from understanding that your job is to literally change the client's life.
Yeah.
So you are going to consult, they're consulting you so that their lives, their efficiency, their way of living, they can live longer, they can breathe better, they can sleep more comfortably, they find peace in the space that they are in. That's why they're coming to meet you. So it's important to know that, and it's also important to educate clients the importance of consultation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them will just come and say, why am I paying for you to come and see my space? Why am I paying for you to come and see my space? What is the whatever amount you're charging for consultation? What's the usefulness? But then
Clients, why?
if you don't know how to present it, that this step is literally the most important step in knowing exactly what I'm supposed to do for you, then there will just be that lack of information, lack of knowledge. And all of them will just be thinking, it's just for you to come now, come and see the space, come and know what color to put the space, come and know what floor, what partition, what plants, and that's it. What they don't know is a lot of emotional I don't know what to use, but it's literally you knowing that it's going to affect them mentally, but they don't know. But it's you to educate them and tell them that this is why I'm doing this. This is why you need this. These are the advantages of this, and blah blah blah. But yes, I think that's the importance of consultation. I don't think I wrote these steps, but I don't think I
You broke down these steps. I
But
I
yeah,
think
that's the
we can
importance
summarize it when we're done.
consultation.
Daniel, do you have anything to say?
Well, I think Joseph has pretty much turned the whole topic apart. But yeah, there's something important that he said, which is as interior designers, our job is to change our clients' lives. And we throw everybody wants to change lives.
Everybody wants to change lives. In
And
fact, most interior design, what's the word? Tagline is live by design.
Yeah.
Most of their taglines, their motto, live by design. And live by design literally means like, something that is changing your life.
yeah.
Like design is changing your life, right?
Yeah.
So right on
But then
point.
I think a lot of people don't really understand what that means, because
Yeah.
if we really understand what that means, then our approach to
Yours
design is
will
going
be
to change
changed
drastically,
forever.
because you wouldn't just get a brief and then run off and start designing. You would like actually sit with the clients to understand why they want what they want.
Yeah.
What are the things that that are influencing the colors that they're picking, or the furniture that they're picking, or the styles of design that they're picking. So is it their childhood? Is it their upbringing? Is it their exposure? Is it the places that they've traveled to?
Yeah.
Or is it their family? Yeah, I mean,
Even their work. Yeah.
I'm going to break this off, but even with people, because I've seen a lot of memes on the internet about, Igbo people always wanting to have the gold and the lion head and all of these other things, right? And I think we are very quick to laugh.
We are very quick to laugh.
As an interior designer, your job is to take that, to understand why they want what they want. So it's for them, it's like a symbol of prestige. It's a symbol of, oh, I have arrived, right? So your job is now to take that, interpret it, and add your own creativity in such a way that you are able to sell them an idea that still makes them feel like they have arrived. Like, I can enter my living room and it looks like a palace, but it doesn't have the excesses exactly that a traditional Igbo house would have, right? So yeah, once we realize that yes, we're actually changing the lives of these people, we're literally designing how their lifestyle will be for a couple of years that they will be in that space. And for some people that will live in the house till they die, literally you are designing their lifestyle forever. Right? So with that mindset, your approach to design and your approach to the clients will change.
Very, very, very true. I think one more question that comes to my mind is, now we've said both interior designer and client have a role to play, but to a large extent, how many clients are actually willing? Because I think the problem with most interior designers is that monetary aspect of it, right? So you have presented your idea, it's great, and then the client comes and tells you that, oh, it's your idea that you have brought. I don't think I can fund it right now. I don't think I have the capacity to, express this as much as I want now. What exactly can the interior designer now do to ensure that you're still presenting what the client wants, not thinking about the monetary aspect of it, right? And also not putting yourself under the train, right? Like in terms of the monetary aspect, right? Because it's possible that I have seen and heard scenarios where the interior designer actually wants to execute something perfect for the client, but in the process of doing it, you run at a loss. In fact, you now start owing your artisans, your vendors, or you are now using another project fund to execute another. The funding project after project after project, or because you try to satisfy one client in the process. So how can we achieve the balance on both spectrums, that both the client wins and both the interior designer wins? Anybody?
So yes, very, very, very good question. The thing about it is that I mentioned it's very human centric.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing. So we have empathy
Yes.
as interior designers. So it's two ways. It's important to know how much empathy you need to dispense, in terms of knowing what the client wants and what will be good for the client, and in terms of knowing where to draw the line when this is not going to work.
Boss, interior designers need to have boundaries.
So yes, now it's important to know that you are you are a changer or a change connoisseur.
Yeah.
At the same time, you are a business.
Yes.
So yes, a business needs funding. At the same time, a a change connoisseur needs to change lives. So now is the balance between, okay, this client has brought a problem. I need to make a bespoke interior for this particular client. Okay, now I've come up with something, but the client says um, his budget cannot handle it. Not good. Now we come to them, since I understand his needs, and then at least to a large extent he understands what he knows what his budget is, obviously. So now he says what his budget is. Me having the understanding of what will be better for him can now tailor that. And this is bespoke. You tailor that to the certain budget if it is not going to be at your detriment. If it's going to be at your detriment, then you should know for a fact that not all projects are your projects. Now, that project might be for somebody else. So if it's not going to work for you, know when to let go. Yes, you're empathetic, you want this client to be comfortable, but a lot of designers just get carried away in the creative process.
Yes.
They're like, oh, this will be so bad, blah, 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 blah.
Firework.
But also know that the clients are clients, they're human beings, they're going to bring money and things like that. But at the same time, they also want to get value for the money they have in their pocket. So you know when to just, if the budget works, then I just by all means cut the certain corners that you need to cut to make sure that, oh, this will work for the client at this particular cost. It might not be the initial design, but this will still work for this client. Then if it's not going to work, this client is asking for something that is just
way out of line.
It's just too much. You want value, but you're not willing to pay for the value. You want comfort, but you're not willing to pay for the comfort. Then just know that you just have to let go. But yeah.
Very,
So
very, very, very true.
So I think you have said it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. So I think in summary, what we've spoken about is understanding the design process, both for the client and the interior designer. Everybody needs to know that there is a process to achieving interior design process in general. When you interact with the designer, there has to be a form of communication, which includes staff consultation. So if there is no proper consultation, communication, there won't be adequate information between both parties to ensure that a beautiful space is achieved at the end of the day. Right? And these laws are not just for residential, even for commercial spaces, right? A lot of spaces are now saying that yes, as we want to work, we also want to create a work environment that is calm and friendly and welcoming, even for the workers, healthy. in quote, for the workers to be able to express themselves, because you're literally spending, because all your employees are literally spending 6, 8 hours of their day at your workspace. They go back home just to rest, and then they have to kick in for 3, some 4, some 5, some 6, some 7 days a week. You don't rest, right? So, more workspaces are rating systems that will ensure that the workspace is healthy enough for the employees. So, both for corporate spaces, for residential spaces, consultation is very, very important, both for the client and the interior designer. Both parties have to understand consultation as much as possible. And as an interior designer, you need to know how to set boundaries, when to let go, when to um, when to weigh the skills and say, okay, this can go off, this can continue. We can take a bow here, or okay, we can mend this to see how we can work with this space. Okay, you inform the client, okay, can we take it one space at a time? We set up this space first. When you have more funding, we go for the next space. And if it's beyond your power, you can as well keep praying for you till more funding comes your way. But yeah, I think we've had a super great conversation today. Thank you all for coming to episode 2. I'm so excited to see you in episode 3. New faces coming up in our next episode. See you guys. Subscribe, like, share.
Yes.
Subscribe, like, share.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.